What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm Timmy Foodie. I hope you're enjoying the videos so far. So today, just got back from the gym, feeling a bit peckish, wanted to do a nice little sandwichy snack. So what I thought I'd do is knock up some of this. I was going to do like a meatball sub inspired sandwich with this ragu that we made yesterday. The link to that will come up at the end of the video. So it's a really good thing to do with these leftovers because it's super quick and it's going to be super fucking tasty. So let's get cracking with it. So I had some frozen sourdough slices in the freezer. I was going to get a nice soft roll sort of thing, but as I had the bread in there, I thought I'd just use that. And then it gave me the idea that I could actually fry it off and make it like a toasted sandwich, which is just going to make it that much tastier. So get your favourite sort of bread. Doesn't have to be sourdough, but that would be great. If you want to use some Turkish bread or whatever you've got is great. So some of this leftover ragu, that's the main thing we're going to need. That's just come out of the fridge and I'm letting it warm up a little bit to room temperature just so it's not stone cold. I've got a little bit of this tomato sauce left over that I made the other day, which was the base for this ragu sauce. So I've kept a bit of that to use in this sandwich. Got a little bit of parmesan here. Again, that was just left over from yesterday from when I made this ragu for sprinkling on top of the pasta. So we're going to put that in. I've got some kind of like solid mozzarella. I was going to get the fresh stuff, but the cheese guys at my local supermarket have been off for Christmas, so they're not around. Then I've got some nice bread and butter pickles. Super tasty. These are the Westmount pickles, which are super delicious. And then I've got a bit of fresh basil and a few knobs of butter and a bit of mustard, salt, pepper, pretty much. We don't probably need salt, but so yes, let's get cracking with this. Now, you've got to do this order in the right way. I haven't quite figured out the best way to do this, but I think what we're going to do, first of all, I'll just put that there for the minute. It's not on. I'm going to slice up the mozzarella. Let's just, I probably want, well actually let's just, nice. This is a good sort of mozzarella to use on a pizza as well. It's a bit more solid. I'm gonna just, I don't know how much I need, probably about that much, and then we'll slice that up. We'll pop that in the fridge. Take the plastic off. And then we want it to fit nicely on here, so you could slice it that way, but to be honest, it's going to be a lot easier just to slice it across this way. So we're just going to do some nice thin slices, maybe about 5mm thick. We want it to sort of slowly melt into the sandwich. It's looking pretty good. Excellent. And then this one, probably just do like that. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's good. So that can go there. Just be careful with cheese. It can be a bit tricky to cut sometimes. That's good. Let's just pop this over here. Now, when we're doing the bread, we want to make sure when it's together, it's facing the right way. You don't want to do it like that way so that the two bits of bread don't match. So think about that. So I'm going to do this. That's going to be the top and that's going to go over like that. So just think ahead. First off, I want to do a little bit of mustard because I think this is going to go quite well in this sandwich. I'm going to just do that on both sides. It's quite a mild mustard, so you can get away with using a fair bit of it. And then just with a spoon or a knife. I actually like using a spoon to spread stuff like this because it's actually a bit easier. Just a nice thin layer of mustard. Perfect. That is delicious. Now, what am I going to do next? Let's think about this carefully. So what I want to do is, I might do a little sprinkle of parmesan in this layer. I think that would be kind of cool. That's probably enough there. And on this layer, top and bottom. I think that's going to be quite nice. That's great. Then I'm going to do, I might do a layer of gooey cheese in between the filling. That's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to go straight into the, wait a minute, let's do pickles on the bottom. That's going to be good. Perfect. Look at that. That was a pretty good guess for how many pickles I needed. Let's just soak up some of that stuff. So that's good. And then we're just gonna, I don't want to go too thick with this because I'm going to do like 2 layers. So let's just be really careful. Spread that around. That's probably about as thick as we want to go initially. Now this is going to take a bit of time to cook through properly, so we might end up putting it in the oven for a few minutes once we've got the colour on it. But that's pretty good. I'm guaranteed going to overfill this sandwich, but you know, fuck it. So, perfect. Then we're going to do, I wonder, maybe a bit of this through here, just to give it a little tomatoey kick. And then actually, I'm going to do some basil in this layer, because I don't want it to, I just want it to really lightly infuse into it. So again, just clump it up and just really gentle slices. And we're going to put that in this layer here. Oh yes, what a beautiful thing. There's a little bit more parmesan grated in there, so we may as well just sprinkle that through this layer as well. Oh yes. Now the mozzarella. So let's try. It is going to goo out everywhere, so you might want to just actually do a line through it like this. Just so that it doesn't completely go ridiculous, although we've got some nice curvy shapes there, so we'll do that. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle. And that cheese, fuck it, we'll put that on top. Right, now there's probably enough in here already, but I want this to sandwich in between this so that it goes all kind of gooey, almost like a lasagna almost. Yeah, that's a genius idea. If you had some bechamel sauce left over from a lasagna or something, you could actually put that in this sandwich as well. We're going to turn some of this into a lasagna for dinner tonight. So I'll show you how to make a bechamel. So I'll put that video up probably tomorrow. Oh yes, that is approaching some pretty serious height. Probably. So that's all going to go into each other, which is going to be excellent. That is starting to get, so in terms of height, I mean, this weighs quite a bit. You can kind of see we're pretty hefty, but you know, you only live once, so, and it's probably, you know, reasonably healthy apart from, you know, all the cheese and the bread and the butter and everything. But you know, pickles are healthy. Mustard's probably good for you. So that's good. Now, I want to put in a bit more of this delicious sauce. I'm going to actually put that on top here. I think a bit of tomatoey goodness. That's going to be quite nice. Oh yes, and just spread that around nice and evenly. Get it to the edges. Get a nice even flat coating. And then let's just do the rest of this mozzarella. That is epic. Here we go, it's a nice little jigsaw. This is going to make a massive mess, but never mind. I think that's everything. There's a bit more basil, let's just sprinkle that through so we don't waste anything. Awesome. You could actually, I might put a bit more basil in there. Let's get a couple more leaves from the fridge. And this basil, I've already washed it. I run it under the sink and then I shake it to dry it, make sure it's all completely dry before you put it back in the fridge. Because if you put it in the fridge with it still wet, it will be really cold and it will it almost burns the leaves and they kind of die really quickly. Whereas if you get it, like, make sure that there's no water on it and then pop it back in the fridge, it will last a good few days. So there's a little bit more basil because, you know, why the hell not? That's good. Perfect. So there we go. So we've got mustards, I can't remember the order, pickles, we've got our ragu sauce, we've got some of the tomato sauce and basil, a bit of parmesan, layer of mozzarella, more sauce, mozzarella, genius. And then that's going to then flip over, make sure you can see that. Oh, that is ridiculous. Yeah, I've definitely made that too big. Oh my God. Well, I'll show you how big this is. Without dropping it, if possible. That's ridiculous. That's like 3 inches. So I've definitely made that too big. We're going to just squish it down a touch. Yeah, this is going to make a real mess, but maybe a bit of Turkish bread might have been good, so it kind of overlapped in. I'm just sort of tucking in the edges a bit. And then as it heats up, it's going to all loosen off and ooze everywhere, but maybe that'll work. We'll see. So maybe don't put as much in as I've done, because then this is going to happen. But let's do it for the experiment of it and see what happens. I'm going to put that back in the fridge with the rest of the sauce, which will go into my lasagna later. Delicious. So pan's on, medium heat initially. This is similar to what we did the other day when we made our cheesy beans on toast, which I'll put the link up for that as well. My super tasty snack. And you don't want to go too hot. Now I think to get this to melt appropriately, I'm going to need to put it in the oven on about 160 degrees centigrade, whatever that is in Fahrenheit. You guys can work it out. Google is your friend. Oh fuck yeah, that's getting hot. Right, don't do that. Melt that butter. Again, get that roughly the size of this little sandwich. Get that melting a bit. Oh. Then pop this little bugger in the pan and get that going. And let's see what happens. Yeah, this is gonna, I've put far too much in it, but it's probably gonna be one of those eat with a knife and fork. So I'm gonna just try and push it down but not let it spill out too much. Because this sauce is really thick anyway, when it heats up it shouldn't ooze too much, but it probably will now I've said that. So I'm just sort of squishing that on the edges. Now I need to get something suitable for a non-stick pan before I scratch it. And that's that. So let's give that I'm going to put in a little knob more butter. Let's give this, on this kind of medium to high-ish heat, kind of more medium than high, give that about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to try and turn it and see what happens. And if you've overfilled it like me, just don't panic if it starts oozing everywhere, because I think that is inevitable. But it's going to be fun and it's going to taste good, so we'll just see what happens. So give that 2 minutes and then we'll be back. Right, we're back. So that's had about a minute or two. I've turned the heat down to about a 4 on this induction. So it's kind of a very sort of medium to lowish heat now. Now, I know it's taken enough colour because I just had a little look underneath, but I've got to try and turn the little fucker now. So I've got another spoon to act as, let me move this over a bit so you can see it a bit better. Yeah, with this, there's not really any really good way to do it. You just got to go for it and hope you don't fuck it up. So I've got this other thing to sort of help, and then I'm actually going to let it sit on that side for just a second. It might help seal that side from leaking out, but we'll see. While that's doing that, I'm going to put in these knobs of butter for the underside. And this side's looking nice and toasted now, but I don't want to go much further than that. So I probably had it a bit hot, so go very much medium with your heat, medium to low. And then that's cool. I'm going to flip that little bugger over onto that butter. Oh, see, that end's trying to fall out. This is going to happen if you overfill this like this. So just keep an eye on it. Once it starts cooking and melting down, the mozzarella inside is going to help stick it all together. So can you see the sort of colour I've got on top there? It's a nice golden brown. That's about as far as you want to take it. I think that's gone too quickly for me, but it's okay. I've turned it right down now. I'm going to actually turn it down to a 3. So what you want to do is let the heat come up through the sandwich to help melt that cheese. But because I made it so bloody thick, that's going to take ages, and I think the bread's going to go too far. So what we want is a general heat around it, which is why we're going to pop it in the oven. So get yourself some sort of awesome, well, awesome, I mean it's an oven dish. So I've got a little Pyrex dish here. I'm going to get a bigger one. You know you've built a good sandwich when you need the big Pyrex dish. Okay, yeah, oven's on. So you don't want that too hot, just sort of, it's on about 160, 150. That is looking pretty good. Now, I don't want to cook the other side quite as long because that's going to be face up in the oven. So that is going to keep cooking and browning a bit. So it's probably had enough in here. See, if you've got a thinner sandwich, then you can probably just do the whole thing in the pan and the cheese will melt and do its thing. But if you want to go full on like me and put far too much in it, then just do exactly what I'm doing. Yes, this is going to be absolutely epic. Again, just kind of anytime you see something trying to escape, just push it in. This end's trying to go, but it should be fine. And this is just all about being really careful and just gentle with it. No like sudden moves. So this is about ready, I think, to put in the oven. Let's just have a look underneath. I think that's good. Again, you just got to, oh bugger, you just got to sort of go for it, and it would be a lot easier to not have to flip this in this, but I'm going to. Yeah, so can you see, there we go, that was all good. This side's quite a lot lighter, which is what we want. So that's good, turn that off now. Let's just, oh god, my mic's getting in the way. Let's just poke those edgy bits in that are trying to escape. And I think, to be honest, it is inevitable it's going to all try and escape, but that is looking pretty good. What I might do, just a really gentle drizzle of olive oil over the top of it, and a little pinch of salt. Perfect. So that's looking pretty good. It's slightly lighter on this top side, which is great, so that's just going to slowly golden up in the oven. We just need to cook this until you start seeing the cheese gooing out of it. So once that happens, there's a few areas of mozzarella that I can see sticking out. So once they start to goo out, we'll know the internal temperature is pretty good. So let's pop that in the oven. We're on about 150, 160, and I don't know, let's give it 5 or 10 minutes, have a look, just keep an eye on it, keep checking it, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, we're back. So we have achieved gooiness in the oven. It was on about, I turned out about 170 in the end. Let us grab it out. Ooh. So I don't know if you can kind of see just about, we've got cheese kind of gooing out of the edges, which is exactly what we want. So I know that everything inside's probably reached a good temperature that's melted all that mozzarella. So now the tricky bit is getting the little bugger out. Now this is hot. Don't forget that, because I definitely will, and I will probably burn myself, which is an occupational hazard of just being me, unfortunately. But listen to that. Nice and crunchy. So we're going to get it out on here. Right. Now don't rush this part because this is where it could all go wrong. So I'm just going to support that, get it out onto here, hold it on that edge, slide it out, perfect. Then I almost picked that bloody thing up without this. Put this over to one side just to chill out. Remember that's hot, so don't go and pick it up randomly in a few minutes. Pyrex dishes hold their heat quite a long time. So yeah, look at that bad boy. So we've got, I don't know if you can kind of see, gooey. I'm going to risk trying to pick it up and show you. Look at all that gooiness coming off the, in terms of the cheese and stuff. It's just, oh, yes. Perfect. Right. So it has all oozed out a bit, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be honest with you. So not too bad. Now, the tricky bit is going to be trying to cut this fucker without it completely oozing everywhere. So I've got a serrated knife because I think that's the way to go with it. And we're going to try and do like a really gentle, so don't push down too hard because that's going to make it ooze out more. So we're just going to do a sawing motion. Oh, it's already going, look at it. Oh, bugger. Try and squish it in. I mean, maybe I should let it cool down a minute so that it solidifies slightly before I cut it, but, or maybe we just need a really sharp knife without the need for a, let's just see, this might be, no, that didn't work. So I think serrated is the key, maybe a smaller serrated, which is a bit sharper. Yeah, that's the one. So little serrated knife like that, because it's a bit sharper, and just really gentle. Can you just hear really gentle sawing motion? Imagine you're sawing a piece of wood or something, and it is all oozing out, but you know, we knew that was probably going to happen. And then now I'm through, I might just use this knife and just make sure that's fully cut at the bottom, which it is. That's great. So that's another knife dirtied for the cause. And little bugger. There we go. Let's just grab a fork or something. Open her up and look at that. That is oozing cheesy awesomeness. Let's see if I can grab a bit and show you. Yeah, so look at that. It's kind of all like gooey and delicious. So there we go. So I'm going to take a nice pretty photo and smash into it. So there's my little delicious, little delicious sandwich recipe. Probably a bit too much stuff I put in it, but give it a go and see what happens. I mean, you know, the worst that can happen is you'll have excess stuff just oozing everywhere. It's not really a bad thing. Or you could put a little less in and just do it in the pan, but if you have put too much in, then pop it in the oven and it's going to be perfect. So there we go, there's my awesome sandwich. Check out the cool photo and you'll see how sexy it looks. And that's my timer telling me to get it out of the oven. So we'll leave it there. Cheers, guys.